What's up? I'm really excited about today's video, as per usual. I want to try and recreate a piece that I have fallen in love with. It is a 11-meter balloon skirt, as specified on the website of Egg Trading. Egg Trading is one of my favorite brands. I have spent an embarrassing amount of time scrolling on their website. Almost every single thing they make is something that I feel like I need in my closet. What I love about the designs are this beautiful sense of whimsy. They have very gathered silhouettes, voluminous skirts. Their pieces often incorporate this lightweight, crispy cotton that just kind of looks like it's floating in the middle of the air. Everything about what they are making feels sweet and fun to me. And in particular, I've been captivated by this skirt. Please appreciate the beauty. I spent the last few weeks looking at the skirt and trying to figure out what's going on and how they created it, and I think I've landed on a design that might give a similar effect. And I literally rose out of bed this morning just like, I need to try it. So in my efforts to recreate this skirt, I've done a lot of planning and thinking. And this morning I whipped up a miniature toile of what I think the shapes would be. And what I want to try is a double circle skirt on the top layer, and then the bottom layer of the balloon being a circle skirt. Of course, to get the balloon effect, the bottom portion does need to be a bit shorter so that the top kind of gets pulled up underneath. And then I believe from the Egg Trading website that this has an elasticated waistband, but we'll just see. Whether it's a zip or an elastic waistband, it will be fine. I'm not too worried about this portion of it. What I really want to capture from their design is this incredible volume that kind of sits out and is just so fun. I think to help make this effective, I'm going to need to source a very lightweight cotton. I have been thinking a lot about where I will source this. They say on their website that this skirt has 11 meters of fabric, and I don't know if that means they used 11 meters or that the actual widest point of the circumference is 11 meters. That's what I think they mean. That's quite a lot of fabric. And I don't really want to spend $1 bazillion on the skirt, so I've got two ideas. I might try and hit a few op shops and see if I can find a bunch of 100% cotton white sheets. If I can get that at a reasonable price, that could be good. But otherwise, I might try and go to Lincraft or a discount fabric store and see what their cheapest cotton is. Of course, the thrifting option seems more fun to me, and I might even dye it. Always forget about dyeing stuff. Anyway, that's my plan. I'm so entranced by this little skirt. The first thing I want to do is probably make my paper pattern for this circle skirt so I can actually see how much fabric I really am going to need, and then I'm going to go shopping. Let's go! Oh my gosh guys, I've got a new dress form. I haven't even showed you this. Side note, new dress form alert. It's from Royal Dress Forms. I can't even. We will get accustomed to this in the future, but today is not a dress form day. So basically, now that I've got this right angle and this big piece of paper, I'm going to move my tape measure at very small increments, making sure that it is remaining taut, and I will mark a big curved line. And this is going to give me a quarter of my skirt. So for a double circle skirt, I will need 8 of these panels. It's going to be a lot of fabric. Ideal length for this is that it touches the floor, so that when I tuck it up into the balloon skirt, it will be a maxi length, because I'll probably lose about 20-30 centimeters from the balloon effect. But this is too long, I'm going to shorten it. So this is my double circle skirt length, and then in theory, my underskirt, which is going to be a circle skirt, needs to be like 20 or 30 centimeters shorter, so that the lining of it will pull the hem of the real skirt up underneath. So I'm going to mark that out. Could be making some mistakes here, but I think I'll do 10 inches. Seems like a nice number. Like 25 centimeters. Guys, I've tried to explain the maths of what I just did multiple times, and every time it just sounds like gibberish. So I'm just gonna power through this, and I'm gonna explain how I calculated stuff. And if it's gibberish, I am so sorry. I actually can't figure out a better way to say it. Okay, I have my pattern piece here now. It is a quarter circle skirt pattern piece. I will be using it for the outside portion of my skirt as well as the inside portion of my skirt. The only thing that will differentiate the two is that my outside skirt will be a double circle skirt and my inside skirt will be a circle skirt. And because the inside skirt is going to be half of what the outside skirt is, when I gather all of the outside skirt, it'll fit the inside skirt. And that's what gives it the balloon and the gathered effect. So for my double circle skirt, I'm going to need 8 of these quarter skirt patterns. To calculate the waist measurement, I gathered my own waist measurement, which is 28 inches. Then I multiplied that by 2 because I want the skirt to be gathered at the waist, which is 56 inches. And then I divided 56 by 8 because I'm going to need 8 of the quarter circle skirts. And 56 divided by 8 is 7 inches. So the curved section of my pattern, this section here, amounts to 7 inches. And as I cut this out 8 times, it should roughly equal 56. I'm just realizing I didn't add seam allowance, but I'll fix that later. Then, for my circle skirt, which will be the lining portion of the skirt, I simply doubled that waist measurement. So instead of 7 inches, it's 14. And that is this line here, because I'll only need 4 of these patterns to make a circle. You know how I said I would take 10 inches off the hem? I realized that I don't need to take 10 off the hem because I have 4 inches of extra length missing here. So I just took the hem up by 6 inches. And I'm hoping that cumulatively, the 4 inches missing at the top, plus the 6 inches taken away at the bottom, will equal 10 inches less length on my circle skirt. And hopefully that 10 inches less of length will bring my double circle skirt up into the lining, ballooning up. I'm done. I am so done. If you understood that, then we must be aligned. We're on the same. You will me go the same. Guys, I just had the most magical haul. These are 5,000 meter overlocking thread cones and they were $4 each there. So I got 4. Awesome. I'm almost out of this color because I use it for everything. And then this roll of fabric, $1 a meter. I bought the whole roll. It's 17 meters. I don't know if it's cotton or polyester, but it feels nice and that's all I care about. Blessed. Blessed! Also, if I was smart, I would wash my fabric first, but I don't want to. The construction of this should be pretty chill. I know I've said that before and I've been wrong, but I've constructed it before in miniature world. So it should be okay. Oh yeah. How is everyone's projects going? Let me know what you're working on and how it's coming along. I don't get to reply to all the comments these days, but I do love reading about all of your projects. It's awesome. I'll take it. In all seriousness, if I was working with a bolt of fabric that had 150 centimeters on the bolt, I would be able to cut this in half circles, not quarter circles. I'm working with 114 centimeters of length, which for $1 a meter I'm happy with, but yeah. If it were longer, this would be quicker, and there would be less seam, so it would look better. I've cut out my 8 quarter circle skirts. So now I'm just going to join them all together so that I don't get them confused with the lining skirt. I feel confused. Pretty big already. I'm gonna make the circle skirt now. Let's go. Guys, I'm so silly. I literally could have done all of my first skirt on the fold. I just wasn't thinking. Literally can do it on the fold. I was complaining about nothing. Doing it on the fold means that I'm cutting out a half circle skirt instead of a quarter circle skirt, which is a lot less sewing, and it would have made it look a bit nicer, but it is far too late for that now. My lining will look good though. So now that I've cut out all of my skirt patterns, I'm really interested to see how much is left on my roll of fabric, so I'm going to measure it. I bought 16.9 meters. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, about 3 meters 75. So that's a pretty close call, really. That's excellent because there's plenty to make a waistband with, and I might even be able to make a little top. So I guess if you wanted to make something like this, you would probably want to be purchasing about 15 meters of something. The next step of this process is going to be quite timely. I'm going to sew 2 parallel lines of gathering stitches along the bottom edge of my double circle skirt, and then I'm just going to gather it to match the circumference of my circle skirt. Let's see how long this takes. It's 3:47. We shall see. After putting my gathering stitches in, I then laid out my double circle skirt on top of my circle skirt, right sides together, and I pinned it down as evenly as possible with the seam lines acting as guides. I ended up working in 1/8 of the double circle skirt, making tiny little openings in my gathering stitches so that I could just work in the 1/8 as opposed to one big long line of gathering stitches, and that helped me get everything quite even. Okay, it's 4:40. That took a little while. Now I'm just going to go all the way around that big piece that I've pinned and stitch that down. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, it's getting a bit dark now, so I do apologize for the light. Basically, I've stitched everything together at the bottom hem, and I removed the visible gathering stitches. And now I'm flipping it right sides out. And this is going to be an absolute mountain of fabric. All of the basting stitches are still on the outside. Hang on. Hang on. I'm really interested to see what the shape of this is going to be. And if it looks anything like the egg trading skirt. Because maybe I've just fully misinterpreted what it's meant to look like. Wait, it's kind of excellent. I think it's quite good. I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. I'm going to do something that I believe is called understitching, where basically I'm going to flip the seam allowance over onto the wrong side of my skirt, and I'm going to stitch that down really close to the edge of that seam, and that's just going to help the seam allowance to flip over to the wrong side, and it just makes things sit a little bit better. It's actually so hard to see, but this is the result of the understitching. And now that I've done that, I'm going to pull it right sides out and then match the 2 waistbands together and stitch that in place. I still haven't decided whether I want to do an elastic waistband or a zipper, because I don't know how to do either of those things on a curved waistline. But I'm about to figure that out. Newsflash, my 2 waistbands fit together perfectly. Someone passed grade 8 maths. I am excited about that though, because I'm actually not good at maths. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but in my head, I'm just going to try make a waistband, a rectangular waistband, the circumference of this waist, thread the elastic in, and then attach it to this skirt.
Despite my hesitation, it actually was really straightforward. I just cut out a big rectangle that was the same length as the waist of the skirt. Then I sewed it into a loop and attached it right sides together with the skirt. I then ironed down some seam allowance at the top of the waistband, as well as I pressed the seam allowance up into the waistband. Then I folded it in half and top stitched that down, leaving a small gap so that I could thread the elastic through as you normally would for any sort of elasticated waist or cuff.
Trying to find the gap in my waistband so I can thread my elastic through. Impossible. There we go. Impossible to look at. It's an optical illusion. The stripes just make you go, ooh. I'm hoping the thickness of my elastic band will help balance the weight. But if not, I can always switch it out. It's not a big problem to switch out a waistband. Oh hi, good morning. It's the next day. I did finish my skirt last night and it is in fact magical. However, I was so excited to finish it and I did a bunch of twirls and I even said goodbye to this YouTube video, but then all of last night I couldn't stop thinking about how I don't think that the elastic waistband is the correct choice for this skirt. So I have to fix it. And because I love the skirt so much, I really do want to have a waistband that keeps the skirt up so I don't have to think about it. So I'm going to dismiss the egg trading design and make a fitted, zippered waistband with adjustable buttons at the back to make it even tighter or looser if I want. If you want information on how I'm going to make this waistband, I'm just going to do the exact construction that I used a few videos ago for making my dream pleated skirt. I think that's what it's called. For making my dream pleated skirt video. But yeah, it's pretty heavy. I just don't want all of that strain to be on the elastic and for that to make the skirt uncomfortable. I low-key just did all of the waistband and zipper steps, and now I've decided I'm just going to redo it, but without pleats. I pleated all of my waist, and then when I tried it on just now, I realized the pleats are not very even, and because of how much fabric I'm working with and the fact that there are 2 layers, I just don't really trust myself to do even pleats, and I know it's going to annoy me that they're not even. So I'm going to unpick the waistband and just do a gathered waist. I think that's going to be fine. Okay, the skirt's done. I'm so excited. I may have accidentally sunk a few hours into fixing the waistband, but I do not have any regrets. I think taking out the elastic waistband and replacing it with a fitted, interfaced waistband with a zip, and it's also got a little button on the side. I just think it was a great move. It's got a lot more structure, the fit is nice and snug, and I've been doing some twirls and dances in it and it's just not going anywhere. So 10 out of 10. It's much more wearable now. I feel so lucky that I was able to find this fabric for $1 a meter. I've never encountered such a price like that. And I did a burn test on my fabric yesterday, which is basically when you light up your fabric and you kind of see how it responds. And it's meant to give you an estimate of what the fabrication might be, depending on how it burns. And it seems like this is cotton, so I've truly been blessed. What a fun and educational make. I was actually very lucky too that Egg Trading have made this skirt in a few designs that have checks or stripes. So I was able to see that the lines were kind of warped in the skirt, which kind of gave me an indication that maybe the skirt had some sort of bias or like circular shape to it. Otherwise, the stripes would more or less be going just straight down. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for coming along on the journey with me. I loved making this skirt and hopefully it was enjoyable for you to watch. If you have any questions at all about the process, just leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. And if you're still here, you should like this video or maybe even subscribe if you haven't already. I would love that. And if for some reason you haven't had enough of my content, you can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, and of course my website where I make happy handmade things that are one of a kind. That's enough. I'm gonna show you the skirt now. Ah! I hope you like. I like. See yous later. Bye!